Hello and welcome back. Day 2 of our Make for Prosperity Week, again with 5 finalists competing for prizes and mentorship worth up to $1 million. In case you're just joining today, you can still find the pitches of day 1 on our website, which is makingprosperity.com. Topic of today's challenge is sustainable and healthy food for all. And the question we asked was, how can urban populations increase access to healthy and sustainable foods despite the rapid urbanization? But first, to get you in the right spirit, let me introduce to you Mayank Midha. He is co-founder of GARF and one of the winners of last year's Global Maker Challenge. During his talk, Mayank will be addressing the importance of leveraging technology to prevent future pandemics.
These are unprecedented times. Everything happening around us is overwhelming. We have to adjust to the new normal. Right from the start of this year, we have been hearing these statements from almost everyone around us. Indeed, no one expected these times to unfold the way they have, but all of us have taken a note of this because the problem has been beginning to enter our homes, our neighborhoods, and it has definite potential to impact each one of us. The pre-COVID world too had numerous issues that impacted billions of people on this planet every day, and they still do. Poverty, sustainable livelihoods, education, healthcare, accessibility to clean water and sanitation, food security, etc., which the UN SDGs have been working upon. But on a larger scale, many of us have ignored these issues because it did not impact us directly. We don't act until it hits home. I am Mayank Midha, CEO of GARF Toilets, and I feel privileged to be a part of the Global Maker Challenge platform since last year. And I feel privileged to be speaking on the topic of how we can leverage the technology to prevent the next pandemic. And I'm going to speak about how we can leverage the technology to prevent the next pandemic. I would like to break this address into 3 basic segments. Where firstly, I would like to speak upon about our journey at GARF and how we embarked upon this journey of the smart sanitation space over the past 5 years and how we leveraged the new age technologies. Second, I would like to speak about what is the kind of future we are looking at. Third, what we must do in order to make our environment safe, the role of stakeholders, and other connected topics. While growing up in India, we had seen issues with respect to the shortage of public toilets and also the irregular maintenance of the existing facilities, and how it is a major issue for women. If they do not get access to safe toilet facilities, they are the ones who suffer the most. And when in 2014, the Indian government announced the Clean India campaign, or the Swachh Bharat mission as it is called, and a commitment of building over 100 million toilets by 2019, we felt that there is a case to build a sustainable social business around this cause. When we did our basic research, we found out that it was a serious issue. About half of the open defecators of the world were in India, and that was about 600 million people. And globally, about 2 billion people did not have access to safe sanitation practices. About 800 children used to die every day globally due to lack of safe water and unsafe sanitation practices. We also observed that many of the low-income communities living in densely populated slums are dependent on the public toilet facilities. And because these either lie vandalized or are improperly maintained, it also leads to open defecation practices and the spread of diarrheal diseases. This is where we made our resolve even stronger, that we want to work in this space and not just build toilets, but build sustainable models that last for a lifetime. The public toilet space has been considered the responsibility of the government departments. Various governments over the years have spent billions and billions of dollars in building, neglecting, and rebuilding the toilets all the same way. And none of the private sector has showed any interest in building these sustainable models out there. And we wanted to disrupt the space. We wanted to plug in the gaps of vandalism and irregular maintenance through the use of new age technology. Innovatively, using tough raw materials like stainless steel, we rolled out prefabricated toilet models that could not be vandalized easily, that could be vandal proof. Further, in 2015, we leveraged the new age technologies like the radio frequency identification, sensors, and IoT sensors to ensure that we automate the toilets for self cleaning and minimize the human interference for cleaning of the toilets. We wanted to generate live data from the toilets about maintenance and user hygiene. We promoted touchless technologies for hand washing and flushing, and today we believe that we were ahead of times. And it is a fact that when we used to speak to various authorities about live maintenance related data and monitoring of user hygiene behavior, we hardly got any favorable responses. No one was actually interested in data on a dashboard. Data on a dashboard that could tell in real time how the users are using the toilets, what number of people have used it, what number of users have flushed the toilets, or what number of users have washed their hands. And today we have seen that the safe hygiene practices are being promoted everywhere. With the onset of COVID-19, we also observed that public toilets in the low income communities are the hotbed of infection spread. So we started to test technologies that could counter the spread. And today we have toilets with automated UV sanitization, where the toilets get sanitized through UV lights after every usage. So we are promoting safe hygiene and safe environments for the public toilet spaces. And these spaces are especially in the low income communities. It took a lot of hard work and commitment from our team members from where we started to get us where we are today, as we provide safe sanitation services to about 200,000 plus people every day. And the decision makers have now started to realize the importance of real time data and its analysis to build resilient and healthy communities. In this hyper-connected world, every activity moves on data and its analysis. There are technologies which can be utilized to predict disease outbreak and prepare us to be in a position where we are able to trace, detect, and reduce the spread of infection. This is where the role of digitizing water and sanitation infrastructure becomes really, really important. These digitally connected utilities can be used as a springboard to emerging smart city initiatives by increasing the connectivity and engagements of all stakeholders. Developing digitally connected water and wastewater utilities that are connected with government, citizens, homes, offices is definitely the need of the hour. Surveillance of sewage networks can provide us with early warning new emerging hotspots of infection spread. Detecting and tracing the RNA extracts from sewage and its detailed analysis through mathematical models can provide us with a much better understanding of the presence and spread of infectious diseases at a community level. Moreover, the authorities can be better prepared to mitigate the outbreaks and reduce the stress on healthcare facilities like we are seeing today. The global response to such pandemic situation requires cooperation, investments at global, national, and regional levels, and we need to create a public health data architecture. Epidemiological surveillance of information must be collected from all geographies and be displayed on a dashboard. And for that to happen efficiently, we need a data architecture, which has been initiated through the Epidemic Intelligence from Open Sources data platform, which is called the EIOS. This has enabled users to assess and share information on outbreak events in real time. There are technologies that are available to prevent the next outbreak. Sadly, what we have seen over the past many decades, sanitation domain has not been on our priority lists. not on the preferred lists of the global impact investors. And ironically, the Better Business, Better World report in 2017, it placed the water and sanitation infrastructure in cities among 60 biggest market opportunities related to delivering the global goals. Furthermore, it's valued to be at least $12 trillion a year in market opportunities and generate up to 380 million new jobs by 2030, with more than half of this value in developing countries. What we need now is global cooperation, political will, stakeholder engagement, and financial commitment to invest in new age technologies for prevention of disease outbreaks and provision of sustainable services to the last mile communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayang, for joining our initiative and for your inspiring presentation. Talking about inspiring, time to meet our next 5 finalists. But first, to give you some insight into our sustainable and healthy food for all challenge, we've prepared a short video for you.
Global food production is at an all-time high. And although food is available in abundance, some still go to sleep hungry every day, while others lack access to proper nutrition, raising an obvious question: where does all of our natural food go?
For us, the struggle is actually transport. From even me, although I have all these technologies, I take it from me, I'm sitting still with a couple of struggles here through transport. If I want to go and fetch compost or manure or things like this, I have to pay somebody to go and take these things. I don't have a van of my own. Transport is the problem. Transport is the problem.
With so many undernourished and starving people around the world, 1/3 of our food production still goes to waste every year.
The number of people that suffer from hunger, so they don't have enough calories to survive, is 821 million people. That's 1 out of 9 people in the world. So this is really a very big problem, and we're talking now just about calories. If you think about micronutrients, which are also fundamental to any person's proper development, and that is called healing hunger, we're talking about 2 billion people. And that's probably 20 or 25% of the world population not eating what they should.
By 2030, 5 billion people will live in cities. Exasperating food supplies, compromising food quality, and accelerating the possibility of a global food crisis.
Today we have over 30 countries that have explicit constitutional recognition of the human right to adequate food, but there's still a long way ahead of us. We need more countries that draft, adopt, and implement framework laws on the right to food, food security and nutrition policies that recognize the right to food, and programs and strategies for food security and nutrition have to be human rights based. So meaning they look at the root causes of hunger and malnutrition, they look at where the problem is and how to solve it, really targeting the most vulnerable people.
With mounting pressure on food supply chains, the focus shifts on farmers and distributors to find innovative ways to minimize waste at each stage of food production and transportation. So, can you make it forward? If you were given the chance to change a life, what would you do? To make food available to everyone, everywhere. To connect farmers with new tools and solutions that sustain food production. And to ensure that the links between production and nutrition are one of the same. Because we believe that access to innovation paves the way to building prosperity.
And here they are, our finalists. 5 creative companies, 5 innovative solutions, and only 5 minutes each. 4. ColdHubs, Exon, Nilus, Stixfresh, and Hilly Nut.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everyone. Over the next few minutes, I'll be talking about ColdHubs and what we are doing. First of all, my name is Nnameki Kegwono. As a means of introduction, I'm a farmer, a radio presenter, and a social entrepreneur. I founded Smallholder Foundation in 2003 as a non-profit that does agricultural radio broadcasting. I spend about 30% of my time at the studios of the Smallholder Farmers Rural Radio, teaching farmers modern skills, techniques in agriculture, and listening to their callings. And the other 70% I spend traveling from one village to another, discussing with farmers to identify challenges and opportunities within the smallholder agricultural space. And it was in the course of my travels that I discovered that 45% of food is lost in Nigeria due to lack of cold storage at key points within the food supply chain. And this affects 93 million smallholder farmers who lose 25% of their income, and also reduces the net availability of nutritious food for urban population consumption. We all understand that cold refrigeration can actually be used to extend the shelf life of food, but most of these solutions are not available in Nigeria because the power grids are not capable of delivering reliable energy to support cold rooms all across. So in 2015, I founded ColdHubs as a company that designs, builds, commissions, and operates 100% solar-powered walk-in cold rooms in farms, produce aggregation centers, and urban markets to extend the shelf life of food. It guarantees 24 hours storage and preservation for fresh fruits, vegetables, and other perishable food. But aside that technology, we also offer smallholder farmers, retailers, and wholesalers education around post-harvest management. But you know, the goal is just to extend the shelf life of fresh fruit and vegetables from 2 days to 21 days. Over the past 3 years, we've deployed 24 ColdHubs at urban markets all across Nigeria, in Kaduna, in Katsina, in Abuja, in Lagos, and we saved 20,400 tons of food from spoilage. We signed up 3,517 farmers who increased their income from $60 to $120 every month. And we also created 28 new jobs for women who are working as our hub operators. Our revenue model is simple. We charge the equivalent of 50 US cents to store one 20-kilogram plastic crate inside the cold room per day. And each ColdHub can hold about 150 of those crates, earning about $75 in revenue every day. In 2019, we did 237,000 in revenue. And this year, we are still fighting to do 450,000 in revenue. The market size for ColdHubs is big. Aside being a Nigerian company, we want to deploy our technology and service to all over the developing world. And the team that is doing this includes myself as CEO, Bright, our CEO, Chief of Operations, Maxwell, who builds and maintains the ColdHubs, and Teres, who is in charge of our finances. The pathway forward for us is to use the prize money to build 3 new hubs in 3 urban markets across Nigeria, in Aba, Lagos, and Abuja. And these cold rooms will actually provide 3,285 tons of fresh food for the urban population consumption. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Felix. I'm the founder and CEO of IXON Food Technology. I'm a scientist with a master's degree in food analysis and food safety management and a doctorate degree in plasma physics. I have previously worked as an editor at Nature magazine for 7 years. I believe if it wasn't for my interdisciplinary background and unusual career path, I wouldn't have come up with the invention that I'll be presenting to you today. Meat has been an important part of the human diet for the last 1.5 million years. Meat is packed with proteins and energy that are needed for growth and development. Without meat, children grow up smaller, weaker, and less intelligent. By enriching children's diet with meats, they gain not only a better head start, but a greater resilience later in life. However, meat is a perishable, and the distribution of fresh meat in countries with poor cold chain infrastructure poses great challenges. What if there was a technology that could help us distribute fresh meat around the world without refrigeration? Imagine the nutrition and socio-economic gaps we had to close. 5 years ago, my coworker Elton and I developed a technology called Advanced Sous Vide Aseptic Packaging, or ASAP. The technology enables food sterilization at relatively low temperatures, around 60 to 80 degrees Celsius. Because the temperature never goes beyond boiling, the meat remains pink, juicy, and medium rare. Here you see a picture of a Canadian pork chop packed in olive oil using our technology. Here are some US sirloin steaks that we served at the London event last October. They were shipped from Hong Kong using EMS and were stored at room temperature for 6 weeks prior to serving. As you can see, the center is pink, juicy, and medium rare. Everyone who tried the steak said it tasted amazing. So how do we manage to sterilize food at such low temperatures? Well, if you look at traditional retort sterilization, the way we ensure all bacteria are killed is to heat the food at 121 degrees for 15 to 40 minutes. The high temperature is what makes canned food so dry, tasteless, and mushy. Our method is clever in that we separate the food into different components, onto which we apply different sterilization techniques. For the packaging, we use vaporized hydrogen peroxide. For oil and sauce, we use retort sterilization. And for the meats, we heat the surface to 160 degrees for 30 seconds. Because the bacteria only exist on the surface of the meats, they will be zapped quickly by the instant high heat. We then combine everything together under an aseptic environment and perform sous vide to cook through the meat. Since everything is sterile, the meat will remain shelf stable. Our technology is going to help food manufacturers reduce cost, save energy, and improve production efficiency. With our products, you can have perfectly cooked meals at home or in a restaurant within the snap of a finger. Freezer burns, defrosting, and bad cooking will become a thing of the past. And by locking in the freshness and extending the shelf life of meat from days to years, there will be more food available for everyone. ASAP is set to change the world. It is the most energy efficient food preservation method known to date, even more so than canning. In fact, we believe ASAP is the biggest thing to come since the discovery of liquid food aseptic packaging. It can solve 10 out of 17 sustainable development goals set out by the United Nations. 3 years ago, our team built a pilot factory in Hong Kong for making ASAP food manually. The process is far from efficient, but it allows us to perform microbial tests and develop peripheral technologies for enhancing the safety and reliability of ASAP food. Now we are ready to move on. And our next goal is to build a production line for making ASAP food autonomously. For this reason, we call on all meat processors, aseptic packaging companies, food processing equipment suppliers, industrial automation suppliers, supermarket chains, governments, and philanthropists. Let's work together to realize the full potential of this grand technology. Thank you.
My name is Ari Weitler, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Nilus. There are over 2 billion people in the world who are food insecure. This means that they do not have enough money to eat a healthy meal every day. This is something that could be avoided if we consider that we throw away 1.3 billion tons of food every year while the food is still edible. Food waste is also a massive environmental problem. It emits over 3.3 gigatons of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. It takes up 30% of the world's arable land and 20% of the world's hydric resources. Both hunger and food waste are included as goals 2 and 12.3 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And they are the problems that we come here to resolve at Nilus. We seek to create affordable and healthy food markets for low-income people by rescuing healthy food at risk of being wasted and distributing it at discounted prices in low-income neighborhoods. The main enabler for our operation is the technology that it provides transparency and traceability to the process. We have developed a cutting-edge digital platform that administers food at risk of being wasted, offers it to clients, soup kitchens mostly, and convenience stores in low-income neighborhoods, and allows them to order the food online. And once an order has been placed, we crowdsource the logistics of the delivery, such as how Uber does it, to keep lowering the costs for our clients. Nilus is the product of rigorous experimentation and agile methodologies of prototyping and scaling. We started as an NGO in 2017, and we were basing our model on donations and monetization through logistics fees, much as like what traditional food banks do, but only digitally. But early on, we learned that this model has shortcomings. For example, the donations model is based on tax incentives, on tax write-offs for the donors, except that in countries with informal economies like Latin America, that model doesn't work because the tax incentives are not enough. In Argentina, for example, food donations only represent less than 1% of the total food waste that exists in the country. Second, because of financial shortcomings, NGOs cannot hire the talent they need to tackle such a massive problem. They only rely on volunteers who do the job part-time. And finally, we found that there is an untapped market opportunity to make operations like this sustainable and be able to scale the impact by doing it with a market-based solution. In fact, the market value of the food waste in the world is over $1 trillion. And in Latin America, we spend over $4 billion per year feeding the poor. So that's how in 2019, we pivoted the model and became a for-profit corporation that buys and sells the food at discounted prices. And you can see how we have been growing healthily. And since COVID broke out in February, exponentially over 500% in the last 3 months. In addition, we pivoted the model from a product catalog base to a solution supplier where we work on the dietary and nutritional needs of our customers, and we increase exponentially as well the volumes and the orders that we've been delivering this year. After our success scaling the model after these pivots, we received incredible support from companies like Google, Siemens, Walmart, SAP, Marriott, Clinton Foundation, Harvard Innovation Labs, who are all helping us scale and become a global company, which, as you can see, we're operating in Argentina now and in Puerto Rico, and also working to expand in Mexico. But we are also planning to expand in Central America, starting with Guatemala, and our dream is to go to Africa. We see an incredible opportunity working with the Mohammed bin Rashid Initiative for Global Prosperity as a partner who can back us not only financially, but also with its unparalleled network to become a truly global company to help resolve the problem of malnutrition, also resolving the food waste problem in the world. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Moody Solomon, and I'm the CEO founder of Stixfresh. Over the next 5 minutes, by the time I'm done with this presentation, we will have wasted enough food to feed over 5 million people. This is due to the fact that we have an abhorrently inefficient global food supply chain system. Up to 50% of all the food we produce goes to waste, and that waste is experienced all across the supply chain, from the farm all the way down to the consumer. The true cost of all this waste amounts to over $2.6 trillion every single year. At least $260 billion of that waste is attributed to pathological damage due to fungal infections. We could eliminate just that segment of waste alone, we could feed up to 520 million people every year. So really, in order to make a real impact, we have to come up with an innovative solution that can be applied anywhere along the supply chain, and it also has to be economical and easy to adopt. And this is where we come in. So at Stixfresh, we have developed a simple sticker, the only sticker-based solution on the market that you could simply apply to certain fruits and extend its shelf life by up to 14 days longer. Let me show you how it works. We have two mangoes side by side. The one on the left is untreated. The one on the right has a sticker. And as you could see here, over the next 30 days as they begin to ripen, the untreated mango begins to rot at about day 14, while the treated sticker lasts much longer. And so how in the world do we do this? Well, plants have been producing these natural, volatile compounds for millions of years to protect themselves from harmful environmental conditions and invasive species, the very same species that attack our food post-harvest. And so what we've done at our state-of-the-art R&D facility at Stixfresh, in collaboration with K. Leuven, is develop a patent-pending formulation that could be applied to a variety of surfaces beyond just stickers. And it includes a controlled release mechanism that extends the release rate of those volatiles over time, so that you could then essentially repurpose nature's defense mechanism to fight post-harvest disease. So though this technology can be applied anywhere along the supply chain, we are focused on distributors to begin with. And the reason why is because this is where we can make the most impact. A single distributor, a single customer can label and code up to 4 million pieces of fruit per day. That's over 1 billion per year. And the reason why is we would simply be able to apply our formulation to the surface of their existing labels. They can continue to use their labels with their branding, with their barcodes. We would just apply our formulation to the surface of their labels, so it would seamlessly fit within the supply chain. And in that regard, we are already working with St. Clair, the largest label producer and manufacturer in the world, to test our formulations on their labels. And so that being the case, our business model is broken up into two distinct phases. In phase one, we manufacture the stickers and the other configurations in-house and directly sell them to the distributors and our customers worldwide. But just given the sheer magnitude of this industry and how fast we want to scale and grow, stage two or phase two comes in, and that's where it would be a licensing model where we would license out the formulation to be applied in-house at those distribution centers. Our average sell price is about 2 cents per sticker, depending on volume, and that ranges from 50 to 80% margin. For our commercial milestones, our first big one is Q2 of 2021, when we would commercially launch the product and make it available to all of our customers worldwide. As for our second milestone, that's in Q1 of 2023. That's when we expect to have our break-even point. And by 2025, our goal is to have sold over 3 billion stickers, which would effectively save over 500 million pounds of food, which can feed up to 100 million people. It's ambitious, but that's the true potential of this technology. So here's where we are today. Earlier this year, we launched our first group of field trials, and we have already garnered the excitement and the interest of some of the largest household names in the industry, including Mission Produce and Zespri, the largest Hass avocado producers and distributors in the world, the largest kiwi producers and distributors in the world, Lonza, one of the largest post-harvest solutions in the world, Aldi, one of the largest retail chains in the world, and many more. And this is really a testament to the power of this technology and how it can be applied anywhere along the supply chain. And it really showcases its potential. And so in conclusion, we believe that we're really offering a truly innovative global solution to solve a universal humanitarian and economic problem that affects every single person on the face of this planet. And just to give you an example and put it in perspective, $100,000 would allow us to build over 15 million stickers, which would effectively save up to 2.8 million pounds of food. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Javier Larragoiti, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Hilly Nut. First, I would like to thank you for the opportunity for being selected as one of the finalists. And I would also like to state that I wish you and all your beloved ones are safe during this pandemic. The picture on the left shows the reason why I'm standing here, pitching my company and asking you for funding. It's a picture of my family. The story of Hilly Nut started when I received the news that my dad was diagnosed with diabetes. And while I get used to the image on the right, I understood how diabetes and obesity are both drastically growing because there are non-attractive options to stop using sugar. In those days, my sister, a dentist, introduced me to xylitol. Xylitol is a natural sugar substitute that protects your teeth against cavities, is low in calories, ideal for people with diabetes, but most importantly, it's the only one that tastes identical to sugar. Now, the story wouldn't be complete without showing a picture of Lorena and Hector that in those days were my professors while I was studying chemical engineering, and today they are part of the team. Together, we did something amazing. We created a process for making xylitol cheap and sustainable. You'll see, even though xylitol has all these really cool properties, it's not popular because making it's very expensive. The current method involves using birchwood as a raw material and a series of costly chemical reactions. So after a couple of years of lab work, we created a patented and biotechnological process in which we transform agricultural wastes to xylitol through a fermentation. So it's a completely natural, sustainable, and cheaper method. In fact, this method is so innovative that it has been awarded twice by the MIT, one as the top 35 innovations that will change the world, and most recently as a global economy solution for circular economy. So how it works, our process is made up of 6 steps. First, we grind the agricultural wastes, then we do a pre-treatment with hot water for releasing fermentable sugars, then we do a fermentation for transforming those sugars into xylitol, and then we start the purification downstream process. First, we remove the yeast, which can be sold as animal feed. It's a yeast that is safe for human and animal consumption. Then we get rid of the color through activated carbon columns, and finally we crystallize our product. As we employ agricultural wastes as a raw material, we have a social and environmental impact. We buy agricultural wastes that usually farmers burn, so we avoid that they continue with that practice, which generates massive amounts of pollutants. 40% of the CO2 in rural communities is made for burning agricultural wastes. Furthermore, we pay poor farmers for the residues, so we contribute to enhance their economy. Therefore, for every ton of Hilly Nut that we sell, we pay $500 to poor farmers. We recycle 7 tons of agricultural wastes and avoid 6 tons of CO2. And most importantly, we benefit the health of 3,000 people. We're currently working in our biggest challenge, which is a technological scale-up, taking what we do from a lab scale first to a pilot plant and then to an industrial facility. And that's why we wish to be winners of this global prosperity challenge. Funding and access to the network of mentors and investors will be catalytic for our solution. Furthermore, we're working on a sales strategy for being able to sell everything that we produce. Last year, we were able to sell and produce 1 ton of product and to create a waiting list of 3,000 clients. That's why we're also working faster on scaling up our production capacity to fulfill that demand. We have conformed a team of experts for the scaling up of the technology and for our marketing strategy, and that team includes people like Lorena Pedraza, an academic and PhD in biotechnology with over 25 years in experience in scaling up fermentation processes. And myself, I work in companies like Unilever, BASF, and Harvard doing R&D projects for the food industry. We are certain that with your help, we can continue to sweeten the health of millions. Thanks for your attention.
And again, we are spoiled with choice. Thank you for 5 truly amazing pitches. Do you have a favorite already? Then keep your fingers crossed for your finalist and make sure you don't miss our award ceremony on September 6th. Just visit our website, makingprosperity.com, and register. And for the latest news and updates, also follow us on social media at Make for Prosperity. Tomorrow is day 3 of our Make for Prosperity week, same time and same place, but again, new challenge. Tomorrow we focus on innovation for inclusive trade with, spoiler alert, 5 really smart solutions. Stay tuned.